All right, let's take away the statistics for a little bit, because what we're doing here, if this bill passes, we're tying the hands of DHS to where they cannot place a child in an adoptive or foster home, regardless of the stability of the person, if they are a homosexual. If that person is a 60-year-old celibate homosexual without a partner, you're telling me that that would not be a healthy environment for that child. Is that your testimony?
You're talking about specific examples. I guess I'd have to, again, I'm not a lawmaker, I'd have to take that on a case-by-case basis.
And that's exactly what I'm asking DHS to do.
Excuse me, Representative. I'd ask the audience please not to engage in any kind of reaction, because you're infringing on the time of the debate. Thank you, Mr. McKay. Speaking against the bill is Joyce Warren.
Thank you very much. I'm Joyce Williams Warren. I'm a 6th Judicial District Circuit Judge for juvenile matters primarily, covering Pulaski and Perry counties. Thank you for the opportunity to speak against this bill. As a judge who has been hearing cases primarily involving children and families for about 24 years, I have seen firsthand the difficulty it is in removing children from their homes, finding appropriate temporary homes, and finding forever permanent adoptive homes. People who commit to be foster parents and adoptive parents need simply to be responsible people who genuinely care for children and want to provide a home for children, whether temporarily or permanently. These are children who have been removed for various reasons from their biological homes or from homes of people who have cared for them for a period of years and or even adopted them. They need safe, secure homes where they can be provided for and cared for appropriately until they can return to their natural home if possible, or until they find another permanent home, which again includes adoptive homes. Arkansas, as we know, has a dearth of foster parents and adoptive parents. This state needs to do as much as it can to increase the number of persons who want to become those types of parents. And while this bill, from its subtitle, is intended to protect the children who are most vulnerable by clarifying the public policy of Arkansas regarding the placement of children with an adoptive or foster parent, it is my belief that these are the very children who will be denied the possibility of living in safe, appropriate foster homes and or adoptive homes. Because an entire pool of potential foster parents and adoptive parents will be denied the right to even make application to be these parents, simply because they are homosexual and or living as unmarried adults in a relationship. And we've heard the definition of what cohabiting or cohabitation is. We also know there are limited exceptions to that. Now, I realize that Arkansas, as any other state, does have the authority and responsibility to pass laws that regulate certain aspects of the lives of its citizenry. I cannot imagine what useful purpose can be realized by excluding an entire class of persons from being foster parents or adoptive parents simply because of their sexual orientation and or their marital status. As a judge, I have been privy to more intimate details of persons' lives than I really want to account or recall. Some have been appropriate parents and some have not. Everyone is different, including children, and we've heard that the overriding poll star is best interest of that particular child. I have seen some foster parents whose parenting styles are different from others. However, that did not mean they were not appropriate foster parents, and the same thing holds true of natural parents and or adoptive parents. They were just different. And when appropriate, DHHS has shut down homes of foster parents just as they have removed children from natural parents. If these parents allow things to happen to them or do things to them that put the children's safety and health and welfare at risk. As a judge who loves her job, is grateful and blessed every day to have become a public servant who can have a small part in trying to ensure the health, safety, and welfare of children who come before me, I'm imploring you not to support this bill. I'm not concerned about a person's marital status or sexual orientation, even when it comes to parenting. I am concerned about a person's character, integrity, willingness, ability to be an appropriate parent to that child, which simply means committing themselves wholeheartedly to parent that child, to be that caring, responsible adult who will direct, guide, provide support and accountability to that child through thick and through thin. Set appropriate limits, advocate for that child, and ensure that that child's needs are met. These characteristics are universal, appropriate for all children, and can be found in people who have all types of lifestyles, living situations, and beliefs. Thank you.
I will be quick, just want
Just state your name and who you're with, and you'll be recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Martha Adcock, and I'm the staff attorney with the Family Council. And I will be quick, just want to address two specific points. First of all, lots of questions has been raised about cohabitation. And DHHS already has in their regulations for foster care that you cannot be cohabiting in order to be able to be a foster parent. So a lot of these issues that have been raised, that's already there in regards to rule and reg, because they're looking at the stability of the home. And even under current rules and regs, if you have cohabiting adults, they cannot serve as a foster parent because they're already looking at the stability of the home. In this bill, part of what we were trying to do, we are placing that into statute, but we also then are allowing for exceptions for the family members. But a lot of the questions about cohabitation, I think folks need to realize in questioning, how do we know? How can we tell? DHHS already does that, because they don't just look at the person and look at their veracity and say, are you cohabiting? There is a home study that is done, and then they have the opportunity, and in fact the social workers have the obligation of going back and revisiting the homes. So there already are mechanisms in place in regards to enforcement. The second issue that I want to raise is the whole idea of the fact that we have all these kids in foster care and in adoption that need to be placed. And that is true. But ladies and gentlemen, the policy of the state of Arkansas should be to encourage and to fund the optimal home for these kids who are at risk. And let's take that on then as a legislative body and as groups, and to do something to make people aware, to have campaigns, to go to your nonprofits, to go to your churches, and to actively recruit good qualified people. Now, if you take that argument, the fact that there are folks already waiting to be placed, then why throw out all the restrictions? Right now we have income restrictions. Right now we have cohabitation restrictions for foster care. We also have limitations on being an in-state resident. We have criminal record restrictions. We have size restrictions in regards to foster care. If you happen to be from a large family, you can't be a foster parent because they won't let you be a foster parent because there's too many kids in the family. Those of you who grew up with large families would recognize a lot of times there's a whole lot of benefit to having lots of siblings around and learning a lot. I grew up as one of 6. And there's a lot of benefit there. We already put that restriction there. So don't buy into that red herring argument, because if that were true, let's throw out those other restrictions that are already in place.